Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I am a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on March 30th, 2022 at approximately 6:27 a.m. PST. Now, where do we go with your finances? Well, we've covered the basic setup. If you look over the last couple of days, well, really, we're splitting because of the way we're splitting it. The last couple of episodes of podcasts that were done, I think that's what they're vlogs that were done on finance. We've covered separating your bills. And all we're going to concentrate on right now is dealing with your income, with the money that's coming in from a stable paycheck. Now, a stable paycheck, to be clear, is a paycheck that comes in regularly, whether it is social assistance, an actual employment check, or your own business. It doesn't matter. Or for that matter, any other, whether it's social assistance, medical, it doesn't matter. Whatever check that is coming in that you primarily focus on to live on. That is what we're looking at today. What do we do with it? Now, before I get into it, if you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Do subscribe to the channel because we are going through a lot of information. I do recommend you have a pad of paper handy just in case. If you're one of these people that likes making notes, do make notes. If you're ever talking to somebody like me that tells you, I've got a way for you to do this, don't tell anybody, walk away. Just walk away. This is a live recording, meaning that whatever I say, any hiccups that come out, any double backs I have to go on, any stumbles, they're all going to get recorded. All I do when I get done this video is double check the date on it and then post it as is. Now I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section below. If you desire to drop a note to me in like a note you don't desire everybody else to see, then very necessary from that standpoint. There's a whole number of contact points that you can look at below this video. And you can contact me there and I will get back to you as quick as I can. Sometimes I will take these messages, these notices, these letters. Boy, it came out really well, didn't it? Sometimes I'll take the concepts that these questions trigger and do a video based on that. But I don't bother telling people who you are. So absolutely drop me a line. Any question at all. I've been dealing with the consulting side of things since I was 10 years old. Metaphysics, social, like personal relationships, friendships, business, UFOs, alien abductions, my labs, health issues, you name the question. The odds are I've dealt with it. And if I don't have an answer, I'll either tell you I have no clue, or I'll point you in a direction to go and find out for yourself. And absolutely take a look at the information I'm giving you. But do not just take my word for it. Do your own checking. Now, where it comes to your stable income. That check comes in. The first thing you do is record it into your tracking system. If you don't know how to set up a basic tracking system, absolutely talk to somebody that does, somebody you know. All else fails, if you don't know anybody that knows how to track money, give me a call. I am not a professional accountant, but I do have a system that has been working beautifully for me. But again, drop me a line. I don't have a problem with questions. So we take that paycheck, and we'll just call it a paycheck for lack of a better term. That paycheck comes in. First things first, record it in your tracking system. Once you've got it there, now take 1%, $1 out of every complete $100. That gets moved into your mad money. Whether you pull it out of the bank, whether you put it in cash, that's up to you. But you take $1 out of every 100, out of every complete 100, and that goes into your pocket. So if you're dealing with a $500 check, you're only pulling $5 out for mad money. That's your money to go and buy a coffee with. Okay, or to go out and buy to buy a chocolate bar. But that's what you get for Mad Money. Now understand that $5 off the top is not going to do a whole lot of damage to your paycheck to stop you from paying your bills. But it will change the atmosphere of the money coming in from I'm working to pay my bills to I'm working and paying my bills. Okay, that's the fundamental difference. So that check comes in. You take 1% off, and for every member in your household. Okay, now, most people seem to have themselves and their partner and maybe a kid. Okay, a kid or two. Even if you've got 3 or 4 kids. Okay, if you're taking 1% and putting them in everybody's pocket with the children, put it in their bank. Okay, now this is just the tools that I use. Okay, but they do work. It won't do any functional damage. Take them $5. Even if you get a check of $500, okay, it's pretty safe to say that you're not getting that. It's not going to be only 500 if you're working full time on your own. But I'm just looking at small numbers. Okay, but that said, even if you've got 5 people in your household, you're talking about taking 5%. Not instead of taking just 1%, you're taking 5%. In other words, $5 out of every 100, and splitting it up amongst all of you. But this gives everybody in the household mad money, because let's face it, if you've got people in the household, my guess is they're taking care of some of the household stuff. If not, you've got another problem you got to deal with. Okay, but that all contributes to making your home comfortable. So you take that 1%, put it in your pocket, that's mad money. Next thing you do is start looking at your living expenses. Get those paid. Now, I've made the mistake of looking at it and going, well, the bill isn't due until the 21st, so I'm going to wait until the 18th. I'm going to hang on to my money until the 18th. Usually what has happened for me, I don't know if it'll happen for you, but what has usually happened to me is I'll pay it on the 21st, on the 18th and get it paid for the 21st. I forget about it, and the money goes elsewhere, and then all of a sudden the 20th comes, the 18th, 20th comes up, and I go, I don't have the money to pay my bill. Right? So when the bill comes in, pay the bill. Get it off the deck and mark that you've got it paid. Now, I personally use a physical, like a physical tabletop calendar. Many of you use this on electronic form. The same system applies. Okay, so you open that door and make it happen. You get the bills paid as they come in. Remember, you've got to put money aside. You don't have money to spare until you've got the money in the bank, sitting there, waiting to pay your rent. That rent, your two top priority bills are your rent and your power. Okay. Everything else you can compensate for. Okay, but the reality is, you can pay your cable bill, but if you run out of power, the cable bill doesn't matter. So your two priorities across the board, no matter what your income, are your rent or mortgage, and your power bill. Okay, those are critical. Now, with that in mind, get those out of the way, start putting the money aside, but leave it sit. Leave it sit in the bank until all of your utility bills are covered. I personally take the minimum payment of one credit card, and that is qualified as a living expense. That's one of my utilities. All other credit cards are additional. They fall into the other category of interest accruing debts. Okay. But the one that you've got, the primary one you use, that is a utility bill. That one gets paid right away because you have to keep that one active to be able to do everything else. Gum. It's just getting annoying. That one bill, those two bills get paid when they get put money aside. Make sure you've got them. Now, if you know how to track money, you know how to look in the bank in your account and go, okay, I've got $400 towards $1,000 utility or $1,000 rental bill. I can't spend that until I've got that money sitting there. The idea of going out for dinner may be really appealing, but you may not be in a position to do it. And this applies to everybody, no matter what your income, no matter what the source of income. Those bills have to be covered. Okay. Now, there will be fluctuations in how much you can get away with. Okay, but the sooner you get your living expenses dealt with, the better off you are. Now, the neat part about it is you don't even have to. This is not something you have to take my word for. Give it a shot. If your stress level is really high, I will tell you that's going to make everything difficult. But taking care of the finances, taking care of that one bit of those bills as they come up, don't wait. People will tell you, well, you don't have to pay for it until like in my case, I've got bills that are due on the 22nd. Now, I've looked at it and gone, gee, I can wait until the 15th and 20th, the 16th to pay them, and I get to keep the money. And it is correct, you do. But the amount of interest you make on that money, in my opinion, does not even close to account for the stress level that gets wiped out as soon as you pay the bill. Gee, is my power going to be on for the next month? The answer is yes. Okay. So, I mean, you're looking at a very functional problem, a very functional situation here. And it's also imperative that we take a look at the other side of things. Now, I do have one, I hope. Yep, well, I got that there, so give me a sec to reach it. Okay, and this is what I do when I get my receipts home. I put them in the bank in my accounting sheet, in my Excel spreadsheet. But I want to bring to your attention this, because you're going to go grocery shopping. Okay. And we know you're going to go grocery shopping one way or the other. But if you take a look at your grocery bill, okay, which is what I'm looking at here. If you take a look at your grocery bill, in many grocery stores nowadays, it will tell you that if you look down the bottom of your grocery bill, it'll tell you you saved X number of dollars because of in-store discounts, because of points you used, whatever. It'll tell you saved X dollars. Now that's great. It's fantastic to save that kind of money, but here's the problem. If, like in this case, this bill was a pretty small one, and all I did was save 98 cents. But you put that aside, okay. If you take that 98 cents and you go, I saved it, and then you turn around and go out and buy something you did not require, okay, and you just spend it again, you didn't save a thing. The only way to save that money is if you put it out of sight into a savings account. Now, I've been talking about straightening things out, and I don't know if I'll do it today. It's probably going to be tomorrow. But I'm going to go down and open a new bank account, one that does not have service fees, and I'm going to use it for just the purpose of taking my holiday pay listed on my paycheck on my pay stub, and whatever money, the grocery bills and what have you, say you saved X amount of dollars. That savings will go into that savings account. In that way, I'm putting money aside for a holiday. Short-term savings. Long-term savings, that's my retirement fund. And I will be dealing with that as I go along. But when you take a look at that grocery bill, might not be a grocery bill. Maybe you're buying stuff from Maybe you're buying stuff from a store that gives in-store discounts, right? Maybe you don't have a card. Maybe you've got a cashback Visa. That cash back, when they give you the cash back, okay, because that's what you save. It's only savings if you put it aside. And this is something I'll be going after, is a cashback Visa or a cashback MasterCard. Now that I am debt free, I can start looking at these little ways that I've talked about making money work. And now it's time to do it, because now I'm at a starting point where I can. Okay. Now, today is the 30th, so I've still got one day, so I will get that done in all likelihood tomorrow. It's funny, I don't think I've had coffee in 3 days. I'm not suffering from it, but I finally figured out what was causing some of my problems, where it came to sleeping. But here's the thing. When we're talking about handling that paycheck coming in, it comes in, you take 1%. Yes, I am repeating myself. And I don't know about you, but I find if I repeat myself often enough, I may pay attention. Good luck with that. But check comes in, record it in your tracking system. Okay, whatever that is, whether it's on hard copy, whether it's on electronic, doesn't matter. Record the income. Take 1% of that and put it in your pocket. That is mad money. That is the money you use to go and play. Okay, and that's all it's for. Okay, so you deal with that. Okay, and I'm going to have to pause this for just half a second and hope I don't screw things up. So I'll be right back. Okay, we're back, in case you hadn't noticed. When that paycheck comes in, and we're talking about the very next one coming through the door, many of you will get paid. It will get paid at the end of the month. When that check comes in, write down the amount that came in on your tracking system. Okay, then immediately take 1% of that check, $1 out of every 100, and that goes into your pocket. That is your mad money until your next check. Okay, that's it. Just that $1, out of every 100. We are talking about $5 out of $5 out of a $500 check. Okay. If you're getting a $1,000 check, you're looking at it at only $10. Okay. Now, you take that 1% for every person in your household. That way, everybody is getting an equal amount. Now, this is simply mad money, because if they weren't doing their part, either if they weren't doing their part, you wouldn't be able to do what you do, or if they're not doing their part, you're the one that brought them into the world. Therefore, it's part of that expense of living, that cost of living. So just 1% out of every check for everybody in your household, and this accounts to everybody's check. Even if you've got kids that are working and living at home. Okay. If they make the money and or if you're living at home with your parents, 1% of that check goes to you, 1% to your parents, 1% to any siblings you're living with. Again, it contributes to the overall household. Okay, it takes care of the house. And it does have this neat little impact of changing the energy of the money from I'm working to pay my bills to I'm working and paying my bills. Now, money is not the problem. Okay, what is the problem is people's greed. And this is why, when you start spreading it out and you start sharing your wealth, it encourages other people to do the same thing. But you take that first one, get it dealt with. Now, if you've got utility bills that have already come in, now utilities for me boil down to gas, power, cable, phone, cell phone, and one functioning credit card. Okay, get your minimums paid as quickly as you can. Get them dealt with. If you've got an overloading debt, if you've got, for instance, a higher income or a higher bill on your credit card, we can start looking at that in a little while. But you make sure the minimums get paid right away. Okay, do not wait for the bill to be due. If it's in your hand, even if the due date is a couple of weeks down the road, pay it anyway. Yes, it means they get the money early and they can do with it and make money with it if they choose, etc., etc. But the trade-off is your stress of wondering whether that bill is cleared or not is gone. Okay, that's the critical factor. Okay, so once you've done that, now you've got all your any minimums paid that are already in, but you've still got your rent that's going to be due at the end of the month. Make sure you start accounting to that. Ideally, what you're looking at is a bare minimum of 3 months living expenses in the bank. Okay, and this is what we aim for first. Myself, that's my first marker. My first marker was to get debt free. Now I'm aiming at 3 months living expenses in the bank. Currently, I've only got 1 month. Okay, but I'm only just getting started. So we start, your next marker is 3 months. And until you've got that, keep really, really close tabs. For me personally, I will be looking at 6 months of food, and we're talking in the bank, have a minimum of 3 months of money in the bank. And in your house, have 3 months of non-perishable food. So no matter what happens, you don't have to worry about, do you have something to eat? You may not have a wide variety. Okay, but 2 things about putting food aside. Okay, and this does boil down to saving money. Okay, if you target foods that have a self-opening can, as in Pop Tops, as in like if you're looking at canned luncheon meat, they come with a key to open the food. Okay, this is the stuff you want to put in storage. If you can't get what you're looking for that way, make sure you have a manual can opener that does not wear out. You want one of the old style ones. Your parents may have one, or you may have worked with one when you were a kid. A solid, no moving parts can opener. Okay, now you can get one. You can get what's called a military can opener on the internet, on Amazon, and it's a little piece of metal. There's no fancy plugs to it, no nothing. It's just a physical one-piece can opener that doesn't wear out. Okay, it doesn't wear it. It's got no parts to break. It requires no electricity. But you want one of these. Okay. That is first and foremost. Because you're aiming for 3 months living expenses in the bank and 3 months non-perishable food in the house. Okay, now bear in mind, like in my case, I've probably got 3 months of coffee in the house already, so I don't need to worry about that. But for me, I'm not looking at only 3 months. I will be putting 6 months living expenses aside and 6 months food. That way, if something goes sour, I'm covered. So you take that and do again. One of the things that I really strongly recommend when we're looking at your living expenses, and I'm going to have to rework this just when I go to write it out, because savings has to be part of your living expenses. You definitely, it's imperative that you take a look down the road and go, how am I going to retire? Now, I'm cutting it real close. I'm 58 now. I'll be 59 in a month and a half. Okay, which leaves me 6 years to get stabilized. This does not mean it's not doable. It means I've got limited time before I hit that 65-year mark. Now, in all fairness, the odds of my retiring are slim to non-existent. Because I am now, I found out something this morning which was absolutely fantastic. Okay, slight diversion into the issue of expenses from expenses. I used to be 246 pounds. I knew when I was dropping the weight that I would drop out of a 38 waistline into a 36. I never even considered beyond that. But now it turns out that I seem to be transitioning because I'm still dropping weight. Intentionally, I'm down to around the 205 mark. I don't know. I don't check until Sunday. But I am now finding my 36s are getting loose, which means I could be dropping to a 34, which would be absolutely fantastic and something I never even considered. But now I've got something that I might be able to hit. But do understand, I am still very much healthier than I was 12 years ago. Actually, this is 22, this would be 14 at this point. Okay. But you take that, and once your money comes in, it is imperative that you put you as a critical priority. I realize you may be one of these people like me that likes helping other people. But you've got to put critical priority on your own well-being first. If you don't take care of you, you're not going to be in a position to take care of other people. That's just the way it's going to go. Okay. So, absolutely, and turn to the people around you when you desire to accomplish something. Turn to the people around you that have done it. If you see success as being a multimillionaire, then find a multimillionaire willing to talk to you about how he did it. Now, I'm quite pleased with the fact that I'm starting to get requests from people that are low income, which is what I've been all my life, asking me how to get debt free. How do we go there? The banks won't tell us. The banks say go bankrupt. I'll tell you, bankruptcy is overrated. And in my opinion, the only people that actually make money with bankruptcy are the so-called bankruptcy trustees. That's it. They don't do you any good. They're not doing, they may do a little bit of good. Oh, I don't owe all this money. But they didn't correct the problem. Okay, they didn't correct your thinking process. Now, this is why I'm talking in terms of finances. It's because, much as I'm not a financial advisor, I learned my lessons the hard way. I've been through a lot of them. Okay. And the ones I haven't been through, I've talked to other people about that they've been through. Now, on this note, if you've got, I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section below. If you've got a question in any field, drop me a line in one of the contact points below. Okay. And I will give you the information I can. And this whole transition has boiled down to this neat little book here. The title is going to be shifted a little. I'm just simply splitting where it says yourself in one word. That is being split into two. I've just ordered a new set of these. Okay. Most of the information I talked about has been written down in books, acquirable through me directly at one of the contact points below here. Okay. And the answer to your question, yes, I do take PayPal. Now, that said, okay, I will leave you until tomorrow. Tomorrow I will be back, and we will talk more about the backbone of the home. Okay, but until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for pity's sakes, stay positive.